So Sergey Kovalev will fight Sabransky tonight to hopefully regain the WBO vacant light heavyweight title on HBO. So there's quite a few thoughts going into this fight. Obviously, Sergey Kovalev is coming off his 2 losses against Andre Ward, and a lot of people have. It seems like the common consensus online is that Sergey Kovalev is finished as a fighter. So I'm just gonna use this video just to analyze my thoughts on the upcoming fight tonight, and also on my thoughts whether Sergey is actually finished as a fighter. So in terms of the 2 fights that he's had with Ward, people seem to forget both fights were actually marred with a relative controversy. So the first fight that he had with Ward, in my opinion, although Ward won, and I predicted that Ward would actually win the fight via unanimous decision, and he did actually pull that off. The fight for Ward, in my opinion, was a lot harder and closer than I thought it actually would be. And depending on every time I see that fight, and I've rewatched it several times, my opinion on who won that particular fight sometimes edges towards Kovalev and sometimes edges towards Ward. Obviously, after Kovalev dropped Ward in that early on in the fight, Ward did actually get up and make adjustments like he usually does. In the second fight, it feels like there was like a tectonic shift in that fight, from the perspective that Kovalev discovered that Ward can actually hurt him. So obviously the second fight was marred with controversy because of the low blow, or the low shot that Ward actually hit Kovalev with, and the fact that the referee stopped the fight. And in a lot of people's eyes, the stoppage was premature. In my opinion, it seemed like Sergey Kovalev did not want to continue with that fight after the fact that he got stunned. Obviously, Andre Ward did actually stun him with a shot before he landed a body shot that did actually end the fight. So from that perspective, Sergey Kovalev could look at both fights, and he is defiant in saying that he believes that he was unjustly treated in terms of the decision he got for both fights. So from a psychological perspective, he can go into this next fight still believing at this moment in time that he is the best light heavyweight on the planet, because with Andre Ward being retired, and at that point before they actually fought, Kovalev was the king that ruled that division. If he's anywhere near to the close to the Kovalev that fought Ward, I feel like Sabransky will get stopped. Now, in terms of him being finished as a fighter, obviously all of these victories that Ward has had over Kovalev has been marred with asterisks. They were not 100% decisive victories. There's always some level of controversy there, and you can argue that Kovalev is the best fighter that Ward has fought in his entire career. So just from that perspective, Kovalev, I think from a psychological perspective, he can recover from the losses that he's had with Ward and actually go on to win this title against Sabransky. Now, in terms of his actual habits, obviously a lot of people have alluded to him actually drinking in camp, and obviously the strained relationship that he had with John David Jackson. If that has affected him in any type of way, and he is still drinking and his habits have not changed, there could be a chance that Sabransky could actually pull off the upset. Now, one thing that needs to be said about Kovalev is the fact that he doesn't seem to actually learn from his mistakes. So I'll see that he's still with the same management that he had for obviously the Andre Ward fight. Now, obviously, I'm just gonna say it bluntly. I feel like Kovalev's management has been robbing him this entire time. For the Andre Ward fight, although Kovalev was the champion defending his titles, Andre Ward got a better pay split for that fight than Kovalev did. Kovalev was the champion, but he didn't make as much money as Ward did for that fight, and the only people that you can blame for that is Kovalev's management. They've not negotiated with Ward's team and also the network to actually have a fair split for Kovalev for that fight. In the second fight, he didn't even get a set purse. He just got the pay-per-view revenue for that fight, and he didn't even get he only got a percentage of the pay-per-view revenue that you can allude to as being less than the percentage that Ward got. So obviously Andre Ward, I believe, made like 6 million from that fight, while obviously Kovalev's purse was not televised. So from that perspective, I feel like if he carries on with the management that he has, he's just going to continue getting robbed in his entire career. Now, it may be that contractually he can't exit the contract that he actually has with Kathy Duva at this moment in time. So in that case, there may be a few fights left on that contract. But if I was managing, obviously, if I was Kovalev, I will dump every management that I've had at this point. So including my obviously my manager Clamus, I'll get rid of him. I'll get rid of Kathy Duva, and I'll try to get with another promoter and manager so that I could actually start fresh with my career and hopefully set my financial future in terms of being in this sport. So obviously with Kovalev, when he fought Ward, he was fighting a genuine 50-50 super fight, and he should have got paid and compensated for his talents, but obviously he didn't. So at some point you have to take personal responsibility for that, and I feel like Kovalev he can't keep blaming other people. He needs to look in the mirror and understand that he's in control of his entire career. So if he at this moment in time, I believe he does actually beat Sabransky and win a portion of the light heavyweight title, in terms of winning back the WBO title. After that fight, he should fight Sullivan Barrera. Obviously, both Sullivan Barrera and Kovalev have lost to Andre Ward, so it'd be a good fight to get him back to the mainstream consensus, and he could potentially have a super fight with Adonis Stevenson if that can ever happen, or Artur Beterbiev. But it must be said, if I was major changes have to be made in terms of Sergey Kovalev's management and his habits if he's to become a dominant force in the light heavyweight division again. Obviously, with his talent alone, he could do it because he's done it before. However, I feel like with him being fairly older, with him being 34, his habits are eventually going to catch up with him, and you can argue that they did catch up with him in the Ward fight. But if he wants to be financially compensated for his talents, and also make his career have more longevity, I think he needs to change a few things. But I don't think Sabransky is going to be the one to make him pay for his mistakes. So is Kovalev finished? I don't think he is yet. But unless he changes certain things in his habit, his lifestyle, his management, in terms of the people promoting his career, he could well become finished. But I still think he's got the potential to cause a lot of havoc still in the light heavyweight division. In terms of his talent, obviously he only lost to Andre Ward, who was arguably the best fighter in the last 25 years, and probably one of the best fighters I've ever seen, from my perspective, just from a technical perspective. So that obviously after Floyd Mayweather retired, Andre Ward was seen as the man. So from that perspective, there's no shame losing to Andre Ward, but it's just I want to see like fighters reach their full potential, and if Sergey Kovalev is to reach his full potential, he needs to change a few things, and I would recommend probably getting a new trainer as well, getting a good world-class trainer that he respects. So if he respects the trainer, then he'll listen, and he's likely to actually change a few things in his game and become a better fighter than he is. But he needs to find a fighter that he respects, and he probably needs to get with a fighter that shows him a bit of tough love. So he can't get with a trainer. He can't get with a trainer that will. He needs to get with a trainer that will show him tough love in the perspective that if he gets with a trainer that's a yes man, obviously they're going to do everything the way Sergey wants to do it, and he's just not going to learn and progress, and he'll stagnate like he did in this fight against Andre Ward. But so there's quite a few things that he needs to change in terms of his management, his lifestyle. But he can, just from a talent perspective, he can become a top fighter in boxing once again and dominate again. However, from a personal perspective, whether he'll do it we will see. Basically, we'll see what will happen. So that's just my thoughts on this entire situation, regarding Kovalev, whether he's finished as a fighter. Tell me your thoughts below, and obviously subscribe to this channel, and I've got more videos coming your way. Peace.